Now we are in Ellen White Museum.
According to Ellen White, the sacrifices of Christ as an atonement for sin is the great truth around which all other truths cluster. So the great truth is Jesus, and all other truths are peripherals. Jesus is the central. And since all countries are represented in the United States, they thought that the work will be done only in the United States. So in 1874, after the revival of James White and Ellen White, Ellen White had a vision. And according to the angel said, "You are entertaining too limited ideas on the work for this time. You must take broader views. The message will go in power to all parts of the world." Now, the angel mentioned Oregon because they are the newly entered territory of the United States, to Oregon, to Europe, to Australia, and to the islands of the sea. Man in our ranks, according to Ellen White, and that is John Evan Andrews. He was the former president of the JAR Conference, but unfortunately, during his missionary time with his children, they were able to contract tuberculosis. Do you know the name of tuberculosis during that time? They call it consumption. So his daughter died, and later he died as well. His daughter died in America, but he died in Europe. And in his last letter, he wrote his brother-in-law, Uriah Smith, that please, should I die, and I know I'm about to die, should I die, please just put maybe 2 paragraphs about me. I know that you're going to write a lot about me. So he was humble enough. And yet now, Pastor, his name is already in the university, the Andrews University. At least he's very humble. You know, he was very, you know what was his motive? He said, because I know from the fact that my best acts are still tinted with pride and selfishness. He still knows that he is very far from Christ. Okay? His character is still far from Christ. Ellen White was supposed to go to Europe only for about 2 to 3 weeks. But that 3 weeks ended up 2 years, where she was motivated to expand the gift of prophecy and then the spirit of prophecy to one of the most influential volume of the great controversy. So where she wrote, and not only wrote, she was going around all places where the Reformation began, including the Waldensian village. And during her visit in Europe, she almost knew when she was in the Waldensian village. She said there was someone here, some places here, as if she was already there, because it was already shown to her in visions. The 19th century chapel. So one of the most important event in the Seventh-day Adventist in Ellen White's life is her vision in March 13 and 14 of 1858. Remember, in 1848 was the publishing vision in Dorchester, Maine, but this one was in Lovett's Grove, Lovett's Grove in 1858. James White had like 5 strokes before he died. So these are facsimile of Ellen White's 4 volumes. 4 volumes. So in this, she explained how the spiritual gifts, happens, and how the history in that 4 hours vision, the whole history of the 6,000 years, almost 7,000 years of the existence of sin was explained. Was visualized by Ellen White. This Bible, I bought this of her, very expensive Bible, of the one that Ellen White, held in. All the 50 verses can be found in early writings of Ellen G. White. I'll be putting it here so that you can so because it's over. What age did Ellen White go for a missionary to Australia? There were debates Was Ellen White exiled in Australia or was she called there? Actually, it was a call. Okay, it was a call. Haskell communicated with the JAR conference. Haskell was going around the world and he saw that there's a great need in Australia. During that time, there were only 300 members in the whole of Australia, including New Zealand and other parts, 300. And according to Haskell, they needed the right character. And the only remaining person living from among the pioneers is Ellen White. And during that time, of course, the leaders would always welcome this proposal, since they don't want to be bothered by Ellen White's, constant bombarding. And the 1888 controversy, it was still alive. So by 1891, Ellen White was going around with A.T. Jones and Waggoner promoting righteousness by faith. And by that time, Ellen White is already very strong in influence. So Ellen White asked, Lord, is this your will? But God never revealed himself through vision or dreams or whatever. It was like, it would be your decision. So Ellen White decided to go to Australia. But going to Australia is not an easy job. She would only have $2 salary per month. And the son will only have $1 salary per month. And how would you sustain? So Ellen White would sell all her possession in order to go to Australia, along with 12 to 15 staff members that will go with her, because she will still continue to publish. She carried much of her books and plates for printing so that they can start the publishing work also in Australia. During that time, there's already a little publishing work in Australia, but the problem is corruption and at the same time mingling with the secret society. Okay, so in Australia, when she arrived, of course, 3 weeks of travel from the US to Australia. When she arrived in Australia, it would take only 3 weeks. And then she would attend the general meeting of all the brethren from New Zealand and from other parts of the Pacific. When they convened, she would contract a very painful sickness from head to toe. So pain from head to toe, like a rheumatic pain from head to toe. Only her right hand wouldn't be in pain. So for 8 to 9 months, she would suffer this pain that she could not even sleep or even move. And yet she was able to write Steps to Christ during this. The most painful time was also the time when she would write the Deserved Ages. By the way, the Deserved Ages was not entitled the Deserved Ages. Originally, it was entitled The Life of Jesus Christ. But when she ended writing the life of Jesus Christ, the publisher wouldn't publish also because it was too thick. And so the publisher said, let's cut this off. So the first ones were Deserved Ages, then Christ's Object Lesson, Thoughts from the Mount of Blessing. The remaining were parts of the Ministry of Healing. And then others, she would begin to write education. Okay? Education. By the way, Ministry of Healing, Ellen White's intention is for this to be given not only to medical practitioners, nurses, but most especially to the sick. That's why I'm now talking with our administration that this book must be published and must be given to the sick. Especially all the sick that goes out of our hospital must have a copy. Because that was the original intention why Ellen White published Ministry of Healing. Okay? I worked in Australia at age 64. Can you imagine that? She started becoming a missionary at age 64 to 74. What an excuse for us that we are already tired, yeah? Ellen White was just beginning a missionary work in Australia at age 64 to 74. And when she was there, what changes was she able to make? First, they were able to coin another organizational system. We call it the union. Way before, it was called Districts of Missions and Conferences. District of Conferences. Later, they call it Union, and the first president of the Union is her own son, Willie White. And later, we have Irwin, We have A.G. Daniels, and A.G. Daniels become president of the JAR Conference. Irwin returned back to, and so the most influential field is already Australia, and the fastest growing church is in Australia. Okay? Now, when in the Philippines, when we put up in 1916, the first conference in the Philippines, it was the biggest conference in the world with 2,000 members. So you can just imagine that. And it is part of this division. Okay? Second, because Ellen White was able to establish the work, she understood that the work was so slow because it would take 3 months for the communication project. So no, we cannot, we have to decide here. So they were deciding things in Australia, they would ask permission from the JAR conference so that some decisions can be made in Australia rather than always ask decision from the JAR conference. That was the move. But in 1901, she stood there as a hands-on missionary to reorganize the church because she said, no, we cannot go on forever like this. And because of the reorganization, money now begins to be transferred quickly to the field through unions. Later, it will not take 10 years that the division will be organized. So the unions from the conference, the unions and the JAR conference, and the JAR conference will divide into several divisions. And then another one is establishing of a education system that is model, the Avondale education system, from which Ellen White wrote the book Education, the model, because Battle Creek was never anymore model. Okay, it was actually a failure. But this one, Avondale, becomes the model. And then Ellen White's house in Australia would become the first hospital in Australia, and later they would establish a hospital, from which she would write Ministry of Healing from the model of Jesus Christ, and not only Jesus Christ, but from her own nurse, Sarah McIntyre. Okay, so will be the first missionary that will be sent. I think she would come from Michigan, Michigan. And then we also have Ellen White's 1901 reorganization, I already told you. Anderson was sent to China. Robert Calvert. You see the explosion of missionaries started from 1901. Before this, there is no budget. Budget is always concentrated in the US. But after the reorganization, now there's budget around the world. That's why we keep on sending. Robert Caldwell will be sent as a self-supporting missionary to at least Thailand, in different places. In 1918, this is in Shanghai. And then for several times, do you know where is the office of the division? It will be in Baguio for several times. Baguio, many times foreigners will sick because of heat, So others will go to Australia, others will go to US. But they started to see Baguio is a good place to heal. So they would go to Baguio and they would put, I think they have $1,500 amount from the JAR conference to buy a place in Baguio so that missionaries can go there and heal rather than go to other countries. More expensive, Pastor Tung. Remember, Munson went to Australia for 5 years and began to just print and translate. But it could have been less expensive if they went to Unai in the top of the mountains hole. That's why. So they started to see that. And then in 1936, the official division, they will get the Philippines. And while he was doing his missionary work there, he began to be sick. And when he was sick, he went to the US. And it was suggested that he would go to battle. And so, by the literature, he was able to be enlightened. And when he attended the camp meeting, he was baptized. And in that camp meeting, he was also ordained. And later was sent to Indonesia. There was a debate when did he arrive? According to Dr. Donnie, he actually arrived in January 1. writer by the name of Emmanuel Sirigan. His father was the first convert to Christianity, if I'm not mistaken. His father was the first convert of Christianity. This tribe is a people-eating tribe. Kanin ba? Oh, his tribe, your tribe. So, your tribe. Did you see this picture before? Have you seen this picture before? Or is it first time to see this picture?
But for this one is the first time.
This color. This picture was I found it from the archive in SSN. Before, no one has the picture of Emmanuel Sirigan. Before that, there is no picture of Emmanuel Sirigan. Only because I found it in the archive of the SSD that we have this picture of Emmanuel Sirigan. Later, Sirigan would meet, after 5 years, would meet. He was not able to fully grasp everything because later, after he was convinced, Munson would go to Australia because he was sick. And there he would rejoin Emmanuel Sirigan would rejoin Ralph Waldo Munson in Sukabumi in the land of Java, along with, of course, we have Tisdale and Petra Tunhay. Petra Tunhay is a divorcee canvasser who will become the first mission president, I would say first mission president of any other mission in the world. Woman president in any mission in the world. George Tisdale will partner with her, but George Tisdale will have a crisis because he would lose his son. And not only lose his son, his wife would lose his mind because of the loss of his son. And so he would go back to Australia. It's always a sad experience, but it is still very encouraging. And then Petra Tunhay would continue the educational work of Munson, but this time she would have a stronghold in Surabaya and also in Batavia. Jakarta. So in Jakarta. And these are some pictures that when I went also to Petra Tunhay Memorial Church, they haven't even seen all these pictures. So they were shocked. They always hear about Petra Tunhay, but never have seen her pictures. So she would be very passionate in teaching Sabbath school. She was able to establish a Sabbath school in Surabaya, Sabbath school in Batavia, and also Sabbath school in Sukabumi. And for a time, Sukabumi will be the place of publishing work. Then later it would move to Jakarta, and later it would move to Singapore. And from Singapore, it would return now in its present position in Bandung. Okay, so Bandung will be the last place of. And there's a story, when she was very sick, she went to Hong Kong, but she couldn't keep herself but to go back. Along the way, when she go back from Hong Kong to Java, she said, "The Lord knows how I have yearned to return to Java." So while she was returning to Java, she died, and she was buried in Singapore. And the memorial of Petra Tunhay is no longer there because the government, changed the place to something else. So now we can have his remains. Okay, and then of course, while they were doing missionary work in Sukabumi, one was converted by the name of Samuel Rantong. Sorry, Pastor, this was the old spelling, Rantong.